Hi, I'm Rebecca Kanopka, Ag Agent in Carter County, and welcome to Around the Farm. Today we're out with a couple of beekeepers, going to explore how to combine a couple of hives. So we have with us John Blasius, President of the Little Sandy Beekeepers Association, and Robert and Roscoe Reynolds. So we do want to take a moment and invite you out to the Little Sandy Beekeepers Association meetings. They meet the first Tuesday of every other month at 6 p.m. normally at the extension office, but right now with COVID regulations we've been meeting via Zoom. So do you all want to tell us a little bit about what we're going to do today?
I come through to help him go through his hives. He's got some hives that he picked up a couple swarms that he'd worked with and checking them to see if they're queenless. The one is queenless, so we're combining it with another box and getting it all done now early before fall hits too late for the weather, and then it's too late to even do anything with it. But there's a queen in here.
Yes.
I mean, you can.
I've seen her a few times in this one.
Yeah, if she wasn't in here, they'd be roaring like crazy. See, they're bringing in nectar. You can see that. That's all that honey. See, these are all coming apart.
Yeah.
This foundation, so in the, well, probably around April, May, somewhere's around May, beginning of June, to start trading this stuff out, or I'd start slipping a little bit out off and on, getting more foundation, better foundation, putting it in these.
Okay.
See, these are all coming apart. They're just, see what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Why did they eat all that out? I mean, that was...
They don't, they're using it to make comb on the other to build foundation. I don't know why they ate the whole box out. Usually they'll do a frame or two that way, but you're better off lots of times just to go to the solid foundation, that plastic stuff. That's already coated and everything. A lot of people talk against it, but I don't know. I've had better luck with it. I can put it in one box and it's going, they can't eat it up like that, for one thing. And lots of times they won't build up on it, but then you just take some sugar water, one-on-one, spray sugar water on them, and they'll usually build them up right away. Okay. And they can't eat them apart. It'll hold together like that. And then when they're not building like this, put this one in the middle and keep the other ones to the end. I was going to do that with that one, but that one's falling apart, so I didn't want to do it. Okay. That way there, they'll build these. See, they're packing more honey down here than they are up on top. But there's seal brood here. Seal brood. Usually if you go through and find brood on the frame and that, and if you find fresh eggs on it, usually that's the one you'll find the queen on. Like here, some of it's all hatched out here that she's been laying in again. They could be, there's eggs in here. Eggs are hard to spot. See, around here you've got nymph that's, these will still seal these up. The eggs are already turned and hatched here, and they'll go through and they'll seal it up, which they'll seal it up like this. And they'll cover it, and then they'll hatch out to bees. But there's little bitty eggs in there that they're almost invisible to see. I don't know how good your eyes are. There's some right in here. Usually if you can't see them, lots of times you take a cell phone, take a picture, and then look at the cell phone. You can zoom it in and see the eggs. See this old seal brood here. See all the She's probably on that other frame. Here's what they call newbies. Here, see this little brown one?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't colored in yet. It was hatched probably yesterday.
Which one was it, John?
See it right here? See how much lighter they are than the others? Here she is right here.
Right there, I see her.
See the queen? Can you see her there? Right here. This is Apigard. It's a treatment for mites. You're doing it for the winter time. But you don't want to block the entrance with it or the vent with it. They got different treatments. You can use Apigard. They've got Formic Pro. They got formic acid, oxalic acid, mite away strips. Yeah, I'd say that. Almost bet there's just a working laying worker in here. See how she's shooting bullets?
Yeah.
When a laying worker's laying, all they can do is drones. So gradually, the hive is just going to die because drones don't do anything but breed them, and that's all. And eat feed.
Mm-hmm.
That's why usually this time of the year they kill the drones and run them off. That's why you don't see any this time of the year. Yeah, she's shooting bullets. That's what you got.
I think I caught this hive around the 1st of May in that area.
Yeah.
And it's been like this the whole time.
It's been queenless the whole time.
Yeah.
It's just when you caught it, you never got the queen with her, or the queen died one. This is where you got to be really careful. You roll a queen killer.
Mm-hmm.
Did they put all this honey in here? Or?
Yeah, they done that since I brought them up here. They wasn't nothing when I brought it up here.
They're working good. They're good bees. Mm-hmm. So you got a queen in there. She's laying. You can see.
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep going through this because
Falling apart.
It's falling apart here. But there's a queen in here. This is the one I would do that box with there if you're going to. Boy, oh boy.
Would you put that one on this one?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay.
You got a half a day's work peddling with this. Go ahead and put your newspaper, just one sheet's all you want on it.
Push this back together.
That's all right, I'll get that in a minute. this box. Did you make these boxes?
I did some of them, yeah. Yeah, I made this one.
What are the yellow things all in there? Is that honey?
This?
Yeah.
That's bees that they sealed, but they're usually, see, I call them bullets. That's where you get a female, they're all females except for the males. You got another bee in there that ain't a queen, and she's laying. It's an unfertile bee. She's laying in there. That's why they're shooting bullets. Is what they. So it ends up just being drones, male bees, and the hive gradually dies. You need another frame in here. Well, we got one there. We can stick in here just for now until you get something on it.
In a while, they'll be coming off anyway, won't it, by the winter? Once they join together.
The box?
Yeah, we leave it on there all
Well,
winter?
I'd leave the box on all winter.
Okay.
But I'd get stuff in here and let them join together and start getting good frames.
Mm-hmm.
Get these out, move these frames in, and move these old ones to the side. When they quit, clean them up and everything, start putting new ones in. Get yourself some new frames and foundation. Just keep replacing as they do it. You know, you might have to sacrifice a little bit of honey in that, but you can take that in the house and use it.
Yeah.
And get this built up. The bees are going to, in the winter, they're going to work their way up there. They'll fill this with honey, and they'll work up here, and they'll be up in here in their cluster.
Okay.
Now you want your apple garden on top of that.
And I need to change this out in so many days?
Yeah,
I thought I read there something real quick.
I think it's 14 days or
That's
something
what
like
I was
that.
thinking.
I don't use the apple garden no more, but I used to use it every year, and I went to that Formic Pro. Formic Pro's a lot more money, but
Right there.
yeah, but it's supposed to be. They say a lot
I
better.
put that in this hive once. To cover the hole.
How long ago?
3 weeks maybe.
You're probably better off with this anyhow. I would leave this in. Most of the time you leave that tray in there until the bees clean it all up. It ain't going to hurt to leave it anyways. The bees will clean that all out and then just take it out of there and throw it away.
Okay.
But they'll eat all of that and clean it up for you. They'll gradually go any place, especially that most bees will let other bees in anytime when they got honey. When they're bringing honey in, they'll take them in right away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they try to come in, they'll fight. But there's a lot more work than people even imagine there is with it anyway. You get a box like this with all the honey in it right now, it probably weighs about 125, 140 pounds. You start lifting that stuff, moving it, I mean, and you should go through all your hives every 10 to 14 days. You don't want to go through them too much or you'll stun her and she'll quit her laying.
Yeah.
But every 14 days, that way you can catch them before she can swarm. They're going to start swarm cells. And you can catch the swarm cells before they do anything with it and get it out of there. And most of the time you can put them swarm cells in another box and split her off in another box and pull it off. That way she won't swarm because she's got another box that's got room in it and she actually thinks she swarmed already out of it.
So how often would you swap a frame out?
Well, you should. Actually, they tell you to swap frames out to get rid of because each pesticide holds in the wax and stuff like that. And they say every 2 to 3 years the longest you should swap. I know one guy that every year just keeps on putting, he'll pull a frame out and put a new one in, let him build foundation on it, and just keep working that way there. And so there's a little bit every year. Get other feeders and put it on there. It's going to be close to time right now where you can quit feeding.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave the feed on all year because that's moisture. Like this ain't too bad because it's outside the hive. But
Right.
if you keep the others in there got moisture in them, and the moisture, to put moisture in the hive, moisture kills more bees than anything through the winter.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want that moisture. You want to try to keep your hives a little bit toward the front to get rid of it. This you got screen bottom on, so it drains out there. It ain't bad. Your hives will start sweating. And then that sweat gets in. If you're cocked the wrong way, it lays in the bottom and they frost. They kill more bees with that than anything. Yeah.
So what kind of feeders do you recommend?
Through Man Lake, I buy these plastic ones. That they'll fit into a super. They got like a tub on each side. I was going to bring one and I forgot. They got a tub on each side, and the center's got a strip with a screen on it where the bees can come up the center and eat off either side of it. They can't drown. They're on it like that. They're the best ones that I've seen that work. Some people like them, some people don't. I had others that were really good. They were styrofoam, and they sat on top, and you'd fill it up, and I think it would hold like 5 or 6 gallons is what it'd hold. But then the bees would come up through the center. They had a plastic sleeve where the bees would come up and then go down and eat. But then the hummingbirds and the wood bees start drilling holes through that styrofoam.
Yeah.
The types of feeders seen here can lead to robbing.
Unless you can seal it off like with a nuke. If you can seal it off at one end where they can't get in, all the other bees now, as soon as there's no nectar, see, they're pulling nectar from wildflowers and that yet that are out now. But as soon as there is no nectar, any bee in the area is going to smell this and they're going to come and they're going to fight. And they'll kill this hive in 3 hours, steal all the honey out of it.
Oh.
Another thing, you want to reduce your entrances this time of the year. I reduce mine all year. You know how to do that?
No.
Take a piece of 1x2, cut it and cut a groove in it. See what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
Cut a groove, maybe 4 inches by, all you got to be is the height of this here, 3/4 of an inch up. And put it on there, screw it on there, and put a piece of screen across it that's like 1/4 by 1/4. It's bigger than that, like 3/8 by 3/8 or 1/2 inch, I guess the screen is. That screen, you staple it across it. That keeps the mice and that from coming out in the winter. And it narrows their entrance down right now where the bees can fight off when other ones come to rob and steal their honey.
Okay.
The smaller the entrance, the more they can defend it. If you get too small of an entrance, sometimes they say it ain't no good. It gets them too hot in there. But everybody their own things doing and saying and everything. I'm not saying what they do is wrong, but I mean it just ain't the way I do it. What I do is the way I do. It's always worked, so I keep doing it that way. I mean,
If it works, don't change.
but I keep mine narrowed down all the time.
We want to thank John, Robert, and Roscoe for helping with our video today. And as always, feel free to contact your local county extension office anytime you have questions.